Over half a year of travel, and we made it all the way to Paraguay. We applied for the residency and were hit with a big surprise win. We can join Christoph Heuermann for a week sailing on his catamaran, the SY Staatenlos, at the island close to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. As so often throughout our journey, we were again on a battle against time. We needed to finish our preparations here in Paraguay and make it to Brazil before the end of April. Unfortunately though, the situation in Paraguay was not pleasant at this moment. Lockdown. It was confirmed. Paraguay was going into a strict lockdown. People had been demonstrating for freedom and against corruption in the streets of Asunción, the capital of Paraguay. The public was sick of all the regulations and mask mandates. Small business owners were losing their ground. They couldn't pay their employees. Many went out of business. Things needed to go back to normal. But instead, the Paraguayan government, fueled by the international corrupt pressure, had to implement strict rules. People didn't want to take it anymore and went onto the streets. And the payoff? Western lying media was telling sheeple worldwide that the people were rioting because they hadn't gotten their People here don't care about experimental They want their freedoms back. But instead, the scared president is imposing more lockdowns. Lockdown people cannot protest. So he has his problem solved. The full lockdown was set to start in a few days and was only gonna last 2 weeks. To flatten the curve, remember that joke? So yeah, there was a chance that the lockdown was gonna last a lot longer. And our departure date to Brazil was coming up. Alexandra had won a 1-week sailing trip with the Staatenlos crew and Christoph Heuermann in Rio de Janeiro, a lot earlier than we had planned on leaving Paraguay. The administrative process in Paraguay is dreadful. At this point, we were still waiting for our car papers and also our residency documents. And we weren't even sure if we were allowed to leave the country. A tough situation, but we were gonna make it work. Alexandra found a wonderful short-term rental place in San Bernardino, a fancier suburb of Asunción, close to the big Ipacaré Lake. It was indeed a dream location. It checked off all our requirements for long-term rental, including a pool and ultra-fast internet. We had the place for a month and made it into our home base and headquarters. It was just the right mix of relaxation and productivity. I started to get back into waking up early, hitting my daily fitness goals. Swimming and calisthenics were a daily companion. And when we needed some more steps, we were usually just walking in the big backyard and got some creative circles done. We had an outdoor barbecue and a big kitchen, ideally for my beloved steaks, and some great smoothies. The house was in the middle of nature and we had no neighbors for that time being there. This meant nude sunbathing and skinny dipping in the pool. Alexandra has an amazing video about our house on her channel. My main productivity during the stay at that place was to get a video editor hired so I can finally tell my story of my adventure escape diaries. The story here. By that time, I was in Paraguay. So many things had already happened. It was important for me to share them with you. Video editing was always the hardest part for me, so I made sure I find the right person for that job. Now you be the judge. If you like the video so far, Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and mark the bell icon to get notified when all new episodes of the Escape Diaries are getting released. Thank you, my dear editor, for the help with this project. I'm grateful to have you on my side in creating these useful memories for these strange times. May many viewers be inspired and go their own path and make their lives into the hero's journey they deserve. San Bernardino also offered a closeness to Asunción, so we could go ahead and buy all the necessary materials and tools to be equipped for our overlanding trip through all of South America. What is if we were not gonna come back to Paraguay, but just continue our journey from Brazil? If everything goes well, we were gonna get a 3-month stay in Brazil and then could go further to see the next country. It was important for us to have all the camping and overlanding gear one needs to stay out in nature whenever possible, but also experience the comfort of a dynamic car. We made sure we would equip Prado with small and effective tools to give us the most flexibility on our journey. Throughout the process of finding our car in Villarrica, we kept on bumping into the German-Paraguayan couple, Björn and Delia, both working on the beautiful project of creating a coding academy for students. When we were able to spend some time in Asunción, they generously invited us to stay with them. We had some great conversations and are looking forward to seeing them again in the near future. One of the other things I was able to kinda get done in Asunción is take things into my own hands with the suitcase that Copa Airline broke on my flight here to Paraguay. I kept on contacting them online, but without no results. So I brought the suitcase to Samsonite, who gave me an address for a suitcase repair. The guy there just added some zipper parts. It made it functional to an extent, but the zipper itself, it didn't quite fit and is still damaged and probably needs to be replaced. Not sure if Copa Airlines is ever going to get their shit together and compensate me for their failures. Over the next few weeks, we were able to complete the rest of the car registration. This can be a months-long process in Paraguay, but we ended up just working 6 weeks on it, and that was really good. For a more detailed account, go check out Alexandra's video on the car purchase in Paraguay on her channel. One of the biggest problems we weren't able to easily solve was that our residency was still not done. The initial 6 weeks had already passed a long time ago. Due to the riots and the consequent lockdowns, the offices that handled these matters were closed and nobody wanted to work on our cases. Not even our VIB gifts for friendly administrative workers could help to speed up that process. The lockdowns themselves, fortunately, were mostly ignored by everyone but the government facilities. All shops decided to stay open and people kept on going onto the streets. There were barely any police checkpoints, and even when they stopped you, they didn't really fine you or anything, they just reminded you to stay at home. It was clear to us that Paraguayans understood that this was all just a big game, and no one would play it anymore. We weren't sure if this was the same case with the border closures. At the official Brazilian Foreign Ministry website, it was clearly stated that foreigners are just allowed to enter Brazil by plane, but not via land crossings. So we were still unsure about our future plans and also waiting for our documents. There was not much we could have done though. So we were just gonna make a run for it, driving to the border and hoping we would be able to cross. With this uncertainty at our minds, the wonderful started to happen. These useless lockdowns were shut down. Paraguayans understand freedom has a priority. And with the lack of lockdowns, our documents could be processed. We were able to get our permanent residency cards just when we were leaving our house in San Bernardino. The ID cards weren't ready yet, but with them just being a formality, we were happy to have certainty in our hands. Now the big road trip was starting. We spent hours over hours in our car. That's where we cherish our love for audiobooks. In combination with the beautiful scenery, an exciting story, or an informative non-fiction book can be the best companion for long trips. For this, we love Audible. Audible is an audiobook subscription service that gets you one audiobook per month. Even better, we teamed up with Audible, and with the link in the description below, you support the Escape Diaries and get your first audiobook free of charge. So sign up right now and tell me in the comments, what's your favorite audiobook and when do you like to listen to them? We noticed the sun going down already, and in the evening we arrived in Ciudad del Este, the city of the East, ready to cross the border to Brazil. But would it be possible? It's the Friendship Bridge, Puente de la Amistad. It connects the two countries of Brazil and Paraguay. So we went with the car onto the bridge. There were many trucks, we had to pass them by. Started to drive over the bridge, and wait a second. There was no gate, no checkpoint, nothing really. So there was no indication we were in a new country. But so we crossed the bridge, and so we stopped, and we actually had to go onto Google Maps, and we looked where we were. And Google Maps said we were in Brazil. That was kind of surprising. So we were not sure what to do now, because we actually need to get an official stamp in our passports. Otherwise, if people stop us with a Paraguayan license plate in Brazil, we have to show them that stamp. And if we can provide that stamp, then they will think we are in the country illegally.
Reception, but
That's good.
yeah, I don't know where to go.
So it took us like 1 minute to cross a locked border. We wanted to get a stamp because we wanted to be official over here, but nobody looked like they were working.
What do we do?
I don't know.
Maybe we should have asked the first guy there.
So we saw somebody. I asked this security guy, and he said we missed the border office, so we had to go back. We drove to the immigration office on the Brazilian side. Well, we parked our car and were about to enter the office. And then, what's next? Wait for what's happening in the next video of the Season 1 finale of the Adventure Escape Diaries. With this inspirational journey continuing in the next video, I want to make you aware of my current offer for a free online coaching session with me. With the Adventure Escape Diaries, you can follow my journey to personal freedom. And now let's make your dream life possible as well. You want to talk to me about reaching your fitness goal, healthy eating on the go, or you need help emigrating from your country and finding a new home? I am here for you, and I can point you into all the right directions. Get inspired by this one-time session or join me for a regular coaching. So go ahead, follow the link in the description and book your free appointment right now. I can't wait for you to plan your own escape and join the adventure.